Hello, I'm Rick Stivers. Welcome to Martin's Reels. I had a productive day yesterday. I went out to estate sales and yard sales, and the week before last, I gave away almost all of my kids' rods. I took them over to the church. We were having a Love Where You Live episode where we meet once a quarter. I think it's a quarter. No, it's once every half a year, and we go through and we fix up people's homes that can't take care of them themselves. And so we did that last week. And while they were doing that, I also went and took all of my rods and reels over there, and all the kids who were participating in the Love While You Live, I offered them a free rod and reel. And they were tickled to death. I gave away pretty much all of them that I had. So I needed some to gather back up for my giveaway program. So went out yesterday, had a banner day. These were all collected. Almost every one of these came on a rod. So, and the rods every single rod was in workable order. Some of them need some minor repairs, but they all function. But I picked up this Zebco 404, and it works beautifully now. There's nothing wrong with it. It does everything it's supposed to do. I stripped the line off of it. It now needs a new line. I picked up this 202. This is one of the more modern 202s. It's not anything like the slingshot or anything. It's probably, I would guess, in the 80s or 90s, but I'm not an expert on 202s. But I've got the drag working on it. Everything's functional again, and it's ready to go. I've got this Zebco 33, and it's the older model. And this is the one, this is a really nice reel. I went through it all on the inside. It's got that separate pinion gear design in it and everything. It's very nice. It's got the drag over here on the drag lever on the side, but I've got this one all functional and working again. It needed the anti-reverse repaired. I've got that repaired, and that one's ready to go. I got this 33 also, and it was missing the anti-reverse lever and the pawl that goes inside. I got that fixed and serviced everything in it. It's now up and functional again and doing what it's supposed to do. And got this 33, and this is a very nice 33, and got it all set up. Got the what was wrong with that? I don't think anything was wrong with this. It was just dirty. So I serviced it, got it cleaned up. It's ready to go. I picked up three spinning reels. This one I've gotten done. The other two are still on my bench to be done later tonight. But I got this Quantum Vector done, and it's a nice little reel. It works beautifully. It does everything it's supposed to do. I've got the anti-reverse fixed on it. A lot of these anti-reverses don't work, and it's usually because of old grease. And this prehistoric 202, this is not the earliest version, but it is a very early 202, and this is probably one like I fished with when I was a kid, before I got my first Johnson reel. And this one is really, really nice. It's in excellent condition. It came with this reel. I got this one and this South Bend together, and there was a third reel. Oh, that other 33. Those three were all zip tied together into one bundle. I got them at a yard sale for $5. So I was tickled to death. And they're all functional, and I'm going to be putting those on kids' rods, sending them out in the world. And last but not least, and this is the project for today, is this Dolphin 130A. I think it's a 130A. I don't have my glasses on. Let me put my glasses on. There we go. Yeah, Dolphin 130A, and I've never seen this reel before. This is a new one on me, and I saved it because it was a new one on me. I decided to hang on to it, and we would do a video on it. And this is kind of taking me back towards my roots, and it doesn't seem to want to crank, but I think it's because I didn't have the cap on. Yeah, there we go. I think it does pretty much what it's supposed to do, but this takes me back to the roots of what Young Martin's Reels started out at, which was doing all these little bait caster reels, and I did a lot of them back in the beginning. And there's a part of me that felt a little jealous that other people were able to do high dollar reels, and I was sitting here with $5 reels. And you know what? There's no reason for that, because the reality is this $5 reel is not a reel that somebody's going to send to somebody like me to have repaired, because it's not worth the money to them. but they would be willing to watch a YouTube video to learn how to take it apart, clean it up, and fix it themselves so that they could take it out fishing again. So this is the premise that Young Martin's Reels really started on. So that's where we're going to with this. So yeah, we're going to scrub this thing up, get it cleaned up, and see what we can do. All right, we're going to go ahead and take the cap off, or the rotor, if it will come off. There we go. It felt like the axle shaft was actually turning somewhat in the rotor, and I think it might have, yeah, it was trying to turn just a little bit. Let's see if I can get hold of that and back it up, back the other way to get it lined up with the flat. There we go. Now that rotor should come off. If you ever find one of these that's really stuck like that, look at the flat and see if it has tried to rotate on the flat. See how that's kind of wallowed out a little bit? Yeah, see if it's going to need to be pulled back. What it was, it had just turned inside there and was jamming it up. It comes off real easy once you loosen it up. Okay, that's very dirty, old grease. We're going to scrub that up, clean it up, get it going again. Get my favorite screwdriver, and we will take the E-clip off. Set that over to the side. It's going to have a drag washer here, and we'll get that drag washer lifted up. And this, like I said, this is like a $5 reel. It's not an expensive reel, but some kid would be happy, I think, to be able to go out and fish with it. And how many other kids have a Dolphin reel? You know, that's kind of cool. So let's see if we can get that to come off. Right now, it doesn't want to. It should come right up off the top now. That the well, let's see, maybe now the drag shouldn't have any effect. Okay, let's go ahead and pull it straight out. We'll take the back half cover off and see what we can see. Okay, there's nothing here to hold this on except, that's nice beefy gears in this though. That's pretty nice. I don't know how well you can see that. Let's zoom in a little bit on that. Yeah, this has got some nice big gears in it. This reel ought to last a while. If, that is, I can get, I'll go ahead and take the axle shaft out, just like, it's built very much like a Zebco. There's our anti-reverse, and it's functional. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Let's take this screw out over here. Take the handle off. That's unusual to see a Phillips screw in that location. Okay, and let's zoom back out so you can see what I'm doing. I got 2 complaints this week on old videos about not being able to see what I was working on, so I'm gonna work really hard on this video trying to keep everything in. Yeah, this is really, yeah, see how dirty that is? That's this reel is going to function a lot better once we get that cleaned up, and hopefully this will lift it right out, which they usually do. Yep, there we go. And I still don't have this rotor off. There we go. Now it come off. Now what fell out? The only thing that fell out was this plate. And this plate is going to fit into that screw right there for the drag. Like so. And that drag was adjusted all the way up. See if we can get it to go back down. Well, there it goes. There it goes down. Okay, good. All right. That pushes up. That will sit in place there. I would have expected there to be a washer on the bottom of this, like most Zebcos have, but it doesn't have one. So all the pressure is right here, riding on just this. So yeah, this is an incredibly inexpensively built reel, and we are going to go about cleaning it all up, scrubbing it, and I will be back with you in just a moment. I'm back with you now. I've got all the parts scrubbed up and cleaned. A few more parts were removed after I started the cleaning, and one of them is going to be this drag wheel. because I wanted to take this out so we could lubricate it. And that being, and I took all of these parts and scrubbed them down with Dawn dishwashing liquid and hot water, and that meant that I really needed to take everything apart to make sure I got all the water out of it. So let's go ahead and start putting this thing back together. We're going to start off, we're going to zoom in just a little bit, but I want to make sure that we stay within camera view. So I'm going to try to work right here in this area. Okay, we're going to start off with our drag wheel and the drag screw. And we're going to take and put just a little bit of grease on the drag screw. And we're going to take the drag wheel, slide it back down inside here. It's got this open side here goes to the rear. Okay, we're going to set this down inside here like so, and line up the hole to where the screw fits in there. Once it's in, hold the drag wheel in place and screw the screw in. And we're going to take it all the way down until it's level with the body, like so. All right. With that done, we're now going to take this drag plate and install it, and it's going to go with this tab right here in that slot of the screw. So set that down in here, drop it in. So I say it's a very simplistic reel. Make sure that this side of it fits inside these two posts right here. One there, one there. That's to keep this from spinning. And once that's done, we're going to take and put some grease on this drag plate. Now, on a better quality reel, what's going to happen when you get to this drag plate and is you're going to find that there's a washer on top of it. Well, on this version, they didn't do that. They went directly from the drag plate right onto the bottom of the spool, and that's what it rides on. That's your drag for this reel. Okay, so we're going to set this down on there like so. There's our drag. Okay, then on top of that, it's going to go this plate, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of grease for this drag washer to fit on, just a little bit. We don't need a lot, I don't think. And then we're going to slide this back on like so, and that'll give that an opportunity to spin on there. And it's not going down all the way. Let's see if we can get it to go all the way down like so. There we go. And then this clip is going to go on. Okay, put it on from the side just like that, coming in. Here's the handle side. Drop it in. There we go. And it may be able to go in any direction, but I didn't look at it that close to find out. Okay, now here's our drag. And right now we have no drag for the reel. Now we should be able then to adjust this screw or wheel, and as we do that, you'll see the screw is going in. As that screw goes in, it's pushing on that plate that we just put in there. And now, yes, that's much more drag on that wheel. As we continue that direction, that makes that tighter and tighter. Okay, that's plenty tight. We're going to back it off a little bit. There we go. Okay, and all this line is going to have to be stripped off. This is just rotted old line. All right, the next step is going to be putting on this anti-reverse claw, and we're going to put a little oil. You can use grease. We'll use grease. We're going to put a little grease right here where it rides and set it in place like so. Okay, and now our main gear is going to go in. And it's going to go into this hole right here. And we're going to go ahead and grease up the gear. You could wait until you've got it installed to grease this. I usually do, but in this instance, I'm just not. It really doesn't matter. Okay. The reason I tend to not do it is because then I have to grab hold of it where it's greased, and I get grease all over my fingers. So that's why I usually wait. Okay, let's go ahead now and oil this shaft. And we're going to set this inside here. Bring it down, and we're going to rotate it as we put it in so that oil can move around in there. And now we've got to get it to drop down like so, so our anti-reverse is working. Let's go ahead, spin it. It should rotate this direction. When we go to back pedal, it's supposed to lock, and it does. Okay, it turns easily this way. See that anti-reverse clicking? Just like that. And then when you go to back up, it won't go back. All right. In order to hold that in place, we're going to go ahead and put the handle on. And install the screw. Okay. And now, and it will not go backwards. Okay. At this point, we're ready to grease up our pinion gear. And I went ahead and put some grease back here because this pinion gear has to slide on this shaft right here. So it's going to go like that. Okay. So we put some grease on that shaft so that it will be self-lubricating as it goes. All right. Now we want to put oil on the shaft. Some people will use grease, and that's okay. It's just when you use grease, it tends to slow it down. And since this is a kid's reel, I would rather have it spinning as freely as possible. There we go. That's in. Slide that up. Okay, now we're going to have to pause for a moment because when we cleaned the rotor came apart. And I have to show you how to put this back together. All right, we've got this pin and this spring. Well, when you flip this over, you'll see that there is, let's see if we can blow it up a little bit so you can see. Okay, you've got this little anvil-like piece right here, and that is going to go into the large hole there and then slide back into the small hole, and that's what's going to hold it into place. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll do it while we're zoomed in. We're going to slip the spring on, put the anvil to the bottom, like so, turn this over, and we're going to slide this into that hole right there. See how the pin comes out of the hole? We're going to slide that up with the pin in the hole and let that anvil drop down like that. Okay, now, there it is. And we're going to come back, add some grease under the anvil, or it's going to slide. And we'll operate it a few times, make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do. And it is. It's well greased. Now we're back to the body. Let's zoom back out a little bit. Okay. And my axle shaft just fell down to the bottom. So we're going to lift that back up, get it re-engaged. There we go. And we're going to find the flat spot on the axle shaft. And with that flat spot, we're going to set that flat spot and mount it up with the one on the rotor, like so. And then we're going to put the rotor nut on. Tighten that down. Hold the rotor in place. Tighten the nut. There we go. Okay. We're going to pick up our body. Our body's been cleaned. Looks much better, doesn't it? And we're going to put, if you look down inside here, you'll see that button right there. That's going to push on the end of the axle shaft right here to release the pin for the line. Okay, we're going to put a little grease on that, like so. Make sure it drops all the way back into the rear position, and then we're going to set this body right back into the case, like so. Okay, You're going to be tempted at that point to push the button. Don't do it. If you push the button at that point, you're probably going to push all this guts out and it's going to fall out on the table. Okay, so hold your horses. Take your line. Fit your line in through the cap. Make sure that the line is not getting trapped. And screw the cap on, like so. Let's back out a little more. Push your button. You should be in free spool, and it's catching because that line is just so old on that spool. But we're going to strip all that off. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see what we got for drag. Okay, nice even drag. Let's see if we can tighten down the drag. So you got a little positive and a little negative for which way to turn it. Okay, much stronger drag. Let's loosen it back up. Okay, there we go. And there you have the Dolphin 130A spincast reel. It's not a bad little reel. It's not the best little reel in the world, but it's not a bad little reel. It's going to make a great kids reel. It'll be going on a rod, and it will go out to the next batch that get given to kids. And I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, hit the like button. If you didn't, hey, hit the dislike button. Tell me what you didn't like about it. And for now, that's Rick Stivers of YoungMartin'sReels, signing out.